DreamHack Atlanta 2022 is happening November 18th, well, 17th through 20th. It's actually starting the day we're looking at this, and your favorite player, yeah, that one, they're gonna lose. And I'm gonna tell you why. We have 16 qualified players from across the world and a whole bunch of open signups, also from a wide variety of players. And I am going to tell you who's going to win, who's going to lose, and we're going to argue over it. And that's what content is all about. But first things first, I'll be casting on the B stream, and by that I mean it's a work-from-home gig. I'll be casting online on the ESL, SC2, B, C, or D. Not sure which one it is, but covering all the games pretty much up until the round of 8. And by all the games, I mean the games that the nerds on the mainstream aren't taking. So many of these players as well. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy, we're not selling out for this one. All right, we already did that. We can't double up. I mean, we can. Like and subscribe. But we have here your qualified players, the open signups, the way the format works. You know what? If you guys want just a nice, uncomplicated, basic idea of how the tournament works, simply feast your eyes on this explanation. I thought it was beautifully done. I thought I had something. Let's see. The bracket. Well, here we are. The tournament. $15,000 for first place, but prizes all the way to the 64th. So, if this doesn't explain anything to you, well, you're probably a Protoss player. As you can tell, a simple and easy road to the top here. And you'll find all of it, or at least 1/4 of it, with me as well. So make sure to tune in if you notice all this by that time. The summary is a bunch of the open participants get several chances. It's not just like a one-round knockout in order to fight their way up. But it's still going to be a lot harder than if you qualified before. And also, if you qualified, you did get your travel paid for and all that. So, well, back to the real action. The predictions. Okay, let me just go over your participants. I don't think all of them are going to make it. These are the players who won the regional qualifiers. You might have seen some of the casts of those. But Estrella has Hero, Neeb, and Showtime for Protoss. We got Clem, Kira, Gumiho, Hero Marine, Maru, and Time. So Showtime versus Time is on the table. Just to keep that in mind. Hero Marine is replacing Raynor, who declined to participate, I think, for personal reasons, and he was next on the list. So Big Gabe slips in. All right, you can't keep him out. Not even America's big enough to stop Big Gabe. Raynor didn't want to get in his way. Cham, DRG, Mayomeka, Ragnarok, and Serral were your Zerg qualifiers. And then the open bracket has some pretty notable players as well. We got Creator. We'll just go by race. Protoss has Creator, DNS, Harstem, Mana. You got M. Canning and Nice also joining. Nina, Nightmare, Peely, Petite Drogo, Zaun is over there as well. So, as well as here, quite a complement of American players. For Terran, you have Beyond and Bunny coming over. Of course, Gene Parmesan, cannot forget. Epic and Future are some of the best NA Terrans who are really going to be looking to make a splash. We'll see. Thermal wasn't able to participate, but we do have Vindicta, Special, Spirit, Ryung, and Kalazor from pretty far as well. And then Zerg, yes, there's several. We got a Laser, Jon Snow, Lambo. You have Scarlet participating, Solar, and Sue. So those are your open bracket. It's just going to be... The open bracket path is not easy. I already have a hard time seeing many of these players make it through. Even some of the ones you really like. Because the open bracket groups first things first, are kind of disgusting for whoever gets stuck in them. Like, this is already the group stage, and this is going to factor into our predictions here. But group stage 1. So, some of these are pretty stacked. So this is where we can start eliminating players just because they got into the wrong group. I didn't mention Solar. Solar's there as well. This is actually one of your highest level groups here. Zound, Vindicta, M. Canning. Honestly, no idea who Torque is, and neither does Liquid. This is, with the can, a big upset potential here. I think he's got a chance. He's on home field advantage. I mean, Vindicta, but I'm looking out for this. I'm gonna try to cast this group because I don't know how much M. Canning's been playing, but like he's got a chance here against some real opponents. Looks like Creator has a pretty okay group. Beyond, definitely the favorite here. Beyond, if Beyond doesn't get out, oh my. Even though a lot of the Koreans, it's quite a travel, but Lambo, looking okay. Bunny and Nina. That is, Maples is not a pushover. I'm not sure who Gene Parmesan is, but that's why he's such a good investigator. Solar has a relative... Dolan is NA Grandmaster, but that should be easy enough for Solar. A Laser and Future in the same group, but a Laser, obviously. I think anyone with ESL points is seeded first, and that's why you see the top players at the top. These are the players who've had the most success outside this tournament specifically. Special, Zhao, Scarlet. Nice. Ooh. This will be an interesting group. All these players are very good, but not tier 1. This is like a tier 1.8 group. I'm not sure how much Jon Snow's been playing lately, but that could make for some very entertaining games. This is also me doing research for the groups to cast. Which we'll be doing in, well, you can see one day. This is Liquipedia. It goes to your time zone. Wow, it's just over 24 hours. Oh, time flies. Chrono Boost is OP. Spirit. DNS. Heavy favorites. Ryung. That'll be pretty close. Hearthstone gets a bunch of Americans to beat up on, but there are multiple Protoss as well, so PvP is quite a thing. Sue, 3 Protoss. Trigger is actually the probably the biggest up-and-coming player from NA. Roommates with Nina, and with a very, like, they actually knocked each other out. Well, I believe Nina beat Trigger 3-2, which must have been a bit of a tense situation. But yeah, so Trigger, I think, is going to be one of those to watch. Another North American Protoss. Shadone, Gerald, Gelazar, Nightmare. So I'm not seeing a ton of upset potential. There's some obvious favorites. So most of your favorite players should get through. I know there are a ton of Gene Parmesan fans out there, but I'm not optimistic. And then group stage 2 are the survivors. And this is where things get dicey. Like, you could very well see Beyond versus Scarlet, for example. And and then maybe Solar or Lambo or something's in the group. And that is when only two out of 4 are going to make it. So. And then we have, out of all of the open bracket signups, what's it going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 players are going to make it. 8 players in total. So obviously qualifying gives you a better chance. And then they'll be seeded in. I think this is doing a little bit of a better job than... but it does take a little longer. And then they'll be seeded in against the winners of these groups. I'm not sure how the knockout... Okay, back to the graph. The seeding depends on how early you were eliminated. Yes, so the reason players like Dark aren't here are that the top 6 GSL players. And Dark actually got knocked out by Cure, who then called him a lazy Zerg in the interview afterwards. And that's why Cure is here and Dark is not. So. They will get seeded into these groups. Is there any weak group here? Oh my... Well, this is probably going to be a very short series. Maru it has in Group B. Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. So I'd say the groups that have a lock on top 2 right now, Clem and Cham. I think Clem's not at risk. No matter who comes from the open bracket, Clem's good. Cham, on the other hand, is obviously in for a ride. There's a second slot in that group up for the taking. Hero, Mayomeka is Southeast Asia, I believe. Came from one of the other regionals. So, definitely not as secure in that second slot, but did make it through. Now, this is Group D is probably on lock. Whoever gets seated in here, Serral and Cure, I mean, maybe a Beyond. Maybe... I'm hard. There's like 2 or 3 players in the... Maybe a Solar. But... And Serral versus Cure has created some of the most dramatic games. Cure he'll take his time. Like, Cure has upset Serral in these events several times in dramatic fashion. So, while I think both of them will make it through, I think it's going to be very tough for whoever gets seated in there. Neeb and Gumiho, I hope we get, like, 3-time WCS champion Neeb. Neeb is... I am a bit biased. But... Neeb is in form. Neeb is crushing it. Like, he kind of dunked on Scarlet and knocked her pretty much out of the brackets. He's looking very good ever since he semi-retired earlier this year. In fact, he hasn't participated in any overseas events because he's going back to school. Which just proves that Protoss players learning anything is OP. He's had a lot more success this year than in the last, 3 or so. Gumiho is vulnerable in the second slot here. There's a lot of players, I think, that could slip into second. I think Neeb stays his favorite, though. These players are ordered by their ESL points. While they all came from different qualifiers, they're ordered by their ESL points. So whoever has more is first seed. Ragnarok versus Time. Time definitely vulnerable. Ragnarok, just happy to be here. Ragnarok's always just happy to be here. That's kind of his whole deal. That's what he does. He's like, oh my god, yeah, sick. Oh, amazing. Ragnarok, who top 6, he technically got top 2 in that GSL finals, where Maru curb stomped him. Is a nice way of putting it. In the interviews beforehand, and then in the games as well, in the interviews where the interview was like, Ragnarok, Maru has never lost to you, ever. All signs point to you getting crushed. How do you feel? And Ragnarok's like, well, maybe not this time. And Maru's like, I'm gonna fuck him up. Like, I've been losing these GSL finals, but pretty much I'll retire if I lose this one. Like, there's no chance. And then 4-0. So, like, it was certainly something. And that was the back and forth. Yes, even the games where Ragnarok was kind of winning, Maru just grabbed his ear, twisted it off, and then shoved it in his mouth, and then said, I don't even want to listen to you. Listen to yourself, you stupid... Okay, alright. And he did it all with a smile. Now we have the German Wall. that is going to be... I will do my damnedest to get these games. I will be casting the groups. I am going to go out of my way to try to grab these, because essentially what it is the mainstream with all these nerds in Stockholm in the middle of the night, because European time, casting these. They get first pick, but it's Hero Marine versus Showtime. They get jammed into the same group. Hero Marine versus Showtime is always the best. So that is my first, like, Serral versus Kieran Hero Marine. So I will do my best to find those games, but maybe I don't want to find them, because since I'm casting on the B stream, I will spoil myself, because since it's ESL's content, that's what they're paying for, I won't be able to post it on my YouTube. So maybe, you know what? Maybe I don't want the good game. No, I won't say that out loud. I will be able to, but the games I don't cast, it will be a lot easier to cast from replays. It was not a 4-1. It was a 4-0. Maru over Ragnarok. And it was not like a... But some of the... No. It was a sweep. It was the it was... it was bad. Maru should really not stop smurfing in the GSL finals. Estrella, DRG. This is a vulnerable group. Both these players are great and inconsistent right now. Whoever gets in this group, I think is going to be... This is... Besides Ragnarok time, I think this is the second weakest group. Because there's no, like... Estrella is very good. But I would love him to show a lot more consistency than he has. Like, he's really good, but he plays a very... It's a brittle style of Protoss. He goes for, like, Disruptor, Templar, Phoenix, Sentry, Blake Star. Like, he's... As long as he juggles all 12 things. Jimmy! Don't worry, in the video we'll edit this part out, where the stream cuts out. That's not a good sign. Hopefully that doesn't happen during the cast. But thank you. Welcome back. Like and subscribe during this forced break. And that brings us to the playoffs. So 16 players will get through. Well, here we go. I'm gonna grab those names. Let me bring up the open bracket again. First things first, it's gonna be hard to put them in any order. I'm just gonna assume the best players are gonna be on opposite sides of the bracket, because I'm not gonna go through and try to figure out exactly how the bracket will break down. This is more like, I think these players will get to the round of 16. Jimmy, bring it up again. And put it in a small window on the side. We can do that, right? There you go. So. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Serral. Wait, no, we're going to the other... Serral. Jimmy! Okay, thank you. Obvious pick. I think there's almost no way he doesn't make it. Hero is another shoo-in for me. Like, these are all players I think will get first in their group and thus shouldn't be on the same side of the bracket, or at least it's unlikely. Let's set it up. Let's set it up. I'm setting up Maru versus Hero. In the semifinals for a little bit of a repeat performance. Maru, pretty secure. These players are all secure. I think it's... And then we'll set up the Clem All right, who else is a lock here? I'm not as like, there's a big advantage to going through. Let's see. We're going back down again. I need to see the groups again. Jimmy. All right. Hero's making it through. Neeb's making it through. At least one of Hero Marine and Showtime is making it. All right. Let's throw Neeb in here. I gotta give it to Big Gabe. I think it's over at Big Gabe. There it is. And honestly, it really depends. There's a lot. How many? I'm just gonna count how many slots I think are vulnerable. Let's see. Ragnarok time. 2. At least 1 in Group H. I'd love Haz to make it through. I don't think he's made it in DreamHacks before. He's done it, but 5 or 6 at least. Yeah, Kira's in there. Kira's here. All right, Kira. And then I'm gonna here's what I think's gonna happen. Beyond's gonna get in Ragnarok Times group. And there you go. He's in. Son of a bitch. Showtime is gonna take second in his group, lining up. Like, these are players I think will make it. Like, make it to top 16. I don't know how the brackets are gonna play out. I'm not gonna do that math or that prediction, but these are your top 16, and then it'll end up as the round of 8. It's a loose association. Beyond versus Showtime. Oh my god, what a match. What a match. A rematch. That's gonna be dramatic, exciting. Like, my debate, Estrella DRG. Like, are there enough, like, you know who I think is most likely to make it through the open bracket because that's his whole MO? Solar. Okay? Solar, almost whatever group he gets put in, I think he'll make it. Like, the only group it might be rough is Serral Cure. I think there is no other group that he won't make it out of. So, Serral Cure is a maybe. Every other group, he's top 2. Solar is very good at being the best of the rest. So let's set up that rematch. Kira versus Solar. Solar isn't even a dark horse. He's like just a normal horse. He's just a good, solid horse. He's not like the newest horse model. He's not burnt out. He's just a good horse. Regular horse. Sue. So, some of this, honestly, for me, depends on whether or not, like, which players have actually been staying. Like, has Estrella been in Korea? Because traveling, I mean, even if they got there a few days before, like, if Estrella has been staying in NA lately, I think he has a much better shot than if he just flew in from Korea. I'm not actually sure. I have high hopes. I've been impressed lately. It's definitely tentative, but Estrella. I think Estrella can make it through. DRG I have a lot less confidence in. He plays a style of Zerg that worked when players made mistakes. But players don't make nearly as many. Like, he's so addicted to lings and blings, and he's so good at it. He's got like 700 APM. But so what are the open bracket players that I think won't make? Wait, do we have any more? Gumiho. New in Neeb's group? Oh, that's a very hard call. Gumiho. Raynor was replaced by Big Game. He's not participating. You know, another... He's very good in online tournaments. He's very good in, like, short-form tournaments. He's gonna get a rough draw, but it's Trigger. I don't think he'll come out first, but I think he'll make it to groups, and I think there's a good chance he makes it through. It really depends on what group he ends up in, but there are several groups he can get top 2. That's my kind of American and underdog pick. Spirit. But I'm kind of factoring. I'm putting some of the non-North American players at a bit of a disadvantage, like over where I'd normally place them. Like if this was in Valencia, I would play like Spirit and Hearthstone would be potential round of 16 players. I don't know. Like I know Hearthstone's been, is it in NA for the last however many days? I saw he was doing some stuff with Scarlet and Lambo. I don't know where that was. This is hard. I was gonna start at round of 8, which I think would have been a lot more. He's in Canada right now. Can Special get to 16? What is his group stage? Honestly, I have no idea with Special. It's not a confident pick for me. Special, Jaishi, Epic. Like, he's the favorite. He's definitely the favorite. But Jaishi and Epic are both, like, they could take a series of him. I'm not convinced they will, but they could. Like, even the first group is a little dicey. I can't in good conscience give Haz second place in a group Maru is in. Like, why? Let's think about the math. I told you I wasn't doing much math, but we're doing a little math. Okay? So why is that? Because it doesn't matter how good the player is. Like, it could be the best player in the open bracket. Maru's probably going to beat them. So no matter what, Haz is likely to have a very tough opponent to fight for second. Then again, you'd have to take, like, Maru has always underperformed in weekend tournaments and overseas tournaments. So you're like, so pretty much not GSL. Yes, actually. He's always disappointed. Pretty much way more often than not. As it's just not his strong suit. He struggles with, like, the repeated best of threes. I assume it's not super great to be traveling across the world and then playing top-level players back to back to back. It's very clear he underperforms by a lot compared to GSL. And by underperforming, I mean he goes from possibly the best in the world to, like, top 4. Like, instead of being first or second, he's like, maybe 4? Yeah. I'm feeling really good for Hero this tournament, by the way. Mayomeka, good. Clearly not the pick. Like, okay, we gotta fill 1, 2, 3, 4 more slots here. Who do I truly think will make it through? Bunny is a pick. Like, okay, we got Bunny, Scarlet, Nina, Spirit Special, Kelazor, Laser, Lambo, Arstum. Like, there are like 10 to 12 players that could realistically, like, you wouldn't be surprised to see them here. But only 8 can even make it from the open bracket, so... I think she can do it. This is more of a heart than a brain pick. But Scarlet. Get some decent draws. Like, oh, it's very hard. Like, Gumiho is a strong maybe. Ragnarok is very plausible. Like, I'm not giving Ragnarok... I feel like I'm not giving Ragnarok enough credit. Ragnarok plays in a ton of the online tournaments. He plays a lot of, like, these back-to-back series. I feel... I'm gonna look terrible when Ragnarok just breezes through his group. But I'm saying, like, what I'm saying is neither of these two players, Ragnarok or Time, are going to be top 2, which already puts a... Then who are the 2 that replace them? Nah, fuck. Okay, I've talked myself into it. The apocalypse is coming for Neeb. I've talked myself into it. I think Ragnarok has a better than even shot of getting out. Maybe not first, but getting out. All right, Gumiho, DRG. I can't put my money on Creator. My metaphorical money. I can't do it. Creator, no. It ain't gonna be it. Like, Laser and Lambo are definitely underdog, but possible picks, I think. Bunny? Maybe. Like, Bunny has overperformed in these tournaments. Nina is another underdog, but possible pick. Zaun? Oh, Zaun. There's a lot of groups Zaun could get second in. Oh, I think I've talked myself into that one. Bunny's number 10 on a regular. It's pretty good, yeah. No, not Zane. Zaun. Well, that's actually... I think it comes out of that group. What? Are you telling me in a group with Bunny? Well, Nina... Oh, that's a tough draw. Maples is high GM. Gene Parmesan is also there. It could be anyone. But I think Nina has a solid second, but Bunny is, yeah, quite an opponent. And the thing is, we don't know how this is going to shake out. Like, I assume it'll be like first and second from groups. But that means Nina being second in a group will have to face probably someone who's first. If she beats Bunny, maybe? This actually gives me a lot more confidence in Bunny. Is what it does. I'm not confident Sound comes out first in this group. I think Vindicta. Maybe I'm kidding. I think Vindicta has a shot there. Like, Sound is all over the place. Okay, I've talked myself into bunny. I talked myself out of down into bunny, which sounds weird, but which leaves one slot. A laser has a future. It's not too bad. These are the harder ones. Way harder. Has? No. No. I can't be convinced. I would be very happy to be. I cannot be convinced. They're not filled through group stage 3. They're filled through knockout brackets. Like I said, I'm not doing the math. Okay? We're just assuming. Like, if you don't get through group stage 3, you're pretty screwed anyways. Or if you don't do well, rather. I'm not... No. No. I'm just saying these are the top 16. And the ones who are going to do the best are probably on opposite sides, because that's how seeding works. Oh my god, but you got a point. Because... Wait. They don't go into the... Wait. I don't... Oh, you know what? No. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. At first, second, then they knock each other out. I don't even know if this... So my bracket might not even be possible, because it's the second place players from the group stage face the knockout players, which actually gives a lot of the open bracket players a better shot, I think. Oh god, you know what? I don't care at this point. Like, I should have actually read this. You've got a good point. I think that significantly increases the likelihood of a lot of... Wait, then how do we seed the group stage? Well, then why? Who's in the groups? Are there 2 group stages? Wait, back to the graph. Wait, group stage 3, third place gets seeded into the knockout bracket. Wait, fourth? This is not... Wait, no. Wait. So, from the open bracket, they get into the groups. And then, from the groups, we have another bracket. Alright, Gene Parmesan is the only one who's going to be able to suss this out. Oh my god. My money's... Yeah, well. So, the group stages both matter a lot and also don't matter. No matter how early you drop to the knockout brackets, you can still reach the playoffs. You know, I regret not doing top 8. That's what I regret. The takeaway from this is I should have just started the damn top 8. At least we get to go over everyone that's playing so everybody has an idea. I think it's still a win. Even if whatever the hell this is, my bracket, is not even plausible. I think it's still plausible, actually. Like, as long as... Technically, the top 16 could just be the players who qualified. It would... Or maybe not. I don't know. So, with this madness... You know, I just take it one round at a time. I cast one series at a time like any other man. I don't look too much into the future. I don't care about time. I only care about showtime. And that's what matters. Because right now, not to disrespect, but at the end of the day, this is a bit, just a little bit, of a nightmare. So, I am so triggered by this bracket. I don't know who benefits from it, but at the end of the day, we're going to see some nice games. I hope. A lot of good team spirit. We've got some special tactics, some epic thumbnails. It's gonna be a great time. Okay, and it doesn't really matter. So... Gumiho. Just Gumiho. Just Gumiho. Alright? Now put this away. Put this away. Based on my possibly impossible bracket. Serral. Versus Neeb. Honestly, Solar. If Solar makes it this far, he beats Cure, in my opinion. Versus Clem. Clem is not unbeatable in TVT, but... Maru. Versus Big Gabe. And beyond... Yeah, if we had started round of 8, this would be 15 minutes long. And me trying to pad for time. Like, Clem versus Bunny in TVT is actually a possible upset. But remember, this is a bit more of a suggestion than predicting the actual matches. I think these 8 players will be in the round of 8. I don't know if the specific matches are less relevant. So the numbers, these numbers will indicate my confidence level. In case, once again, we're gonna, if you just, as opposed to the actual match, I think Sarah will make it, but I think this would be very close for Neeb. Nope. Clem is too good in TVC right now. Maru is vulnerable in TVT, even though he's the best TVT player in the world by a large margin. Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one. I have no... It really, it depends on which Beyond shows up. Like... I think if... Well, okay. I'm gonna immediately invalidate all of my commentary and say, well, if Beyond beats Showtime comfortably, I give him a slight favor. Oh, but Hero is just better than Showtime. Just... Why did I set this one up? This is the hardest by far. Like, Serral Neeb 3-2, but that's like a pretty comfortable 3-2, I think. This is like 3-2, but... Here's what we're gonna do. I have to pick one. You have to pick one. I cop out. There'll be a draw. And then Hero will win the inevitable rock, paper, scissors for it. Setting up Maru versus Hero. Yeah, this is... No, what have I done? Okay, at least you could undo that on Paint. I'm like, oh no, no. We might make an entirely different bracket. Never before seen. Honestly, Clem, confident. His TVZ right now, I don't see it for Serral. I think he's favored against Serral. If it comes to that, like, he comfortably beat him. And he beat Raynor in relatively convincing manner as well. Like, also, this is a little bit of like, I really would love this finals. The hero we deserve. No clean sweeps. No. It's gonna be 3-0s all the way up to the semis, but you can't make a bracket on 3-0s. I even get, like, predicting it, I even gave Ragnarok a game against Maru because I couldn't bring myself to say Maru's gonna sweep 4-0. It's the finals. And we saw how that turned out. Like, can we bring up how Maru absolutely dumpstered Ragnarok and, like, took him out like last week's trash? So, I think a lot of the top 4 will depend on the seeding into the quarterfinals. Like, there's some clear, like, if Clem hits Bunny, that could be a roadblock. If Serral hits Clem, that's a roadblock. I think Clem, and maybe to a much lesser extent, Maru. I say lesser extent, because Maru has a bit of a different style, but, like, I think Clem is the biggest roadblock for Serral. I think any Terran is a big roadblock for Clem. I think he's good enough to beat almost any Protoss besides Hero. Like, Showtime, I favor Clem. Trigger, I favor Clem. Neeb, I'd still favor Clem a bit. But Hero is... There's a reason he's #1 Protoss right now. I would favor Maru in the finals, I think, against Hero. Honestly. But based on Maru's track record in overseas and weekend tournaments, I can see him stop. Like, this is giving him a little bit of credit even. Like, based on the past, that's probably where Maru flares out. I'd love to see this finals as well.
Detected.
I think it's not unrealistic. I give it
19 months.
a 20, like, in true confidence, I give this like a 1 in 5 or so odds of happening. And I'd be willing to take like 1 in 3 odds that at least one of those players makes it to the finals. So, I think Serral is still very much a possibility. I think Maru is actually less of a possibility. I'm rooting for Neeb, of course. Cure could always just make a huge run. Maybe Beyond powers through the open bracket. Like, there are still a few options in the open bracket we left out. But we'll just have to see. This is your DreamHack Atlanta prediction. Make sure to tune in. I guess I'll post this on YouTube or something. We'll see if anybody watches it. But we gotta have some content, and I'll be casting for over 10 hours on Friday, and I'll be casting about half that on Saturday. And then we'll be at about the round of 8, I believe. So that's when the lazy nerds who trade off duo casting will take over from Stockholm. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoy DreamHack. If you have any games that I didn't cast that you want to recommend, I'll probably be covering the highlights from replays as well. So hopefully I don't see too many good games. It should be fun. Stay chill.